Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us for today's Coffee with CRGroup. And the subject for today is must-have add-ons for Dynamics GP. My name's John Smith. I'm Director of Enterprise Business Solutions here. I've been working with CRGroup for the last 14 years and working with Dynamics GP for the last 17 years since version 6. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. Today's session is being recorded and a video link will be made available to you following the session. During today's session, if you have questions, I encourage you to go into the GoToWebinar panel and enter your questions, and we will reserve time at the end of the presentation for questions. And with that, what we'll do is go ahead and share the screen and get started. So there we go, and you should all see my screen, and we'll go ahead and get started with today's presentation. So just before we jump into talking about the solutions, I want to talk a little bit about who we are. Corporate Renaissance Group was founded in 1989. We have offices globally, and we've really been helping clients complete their business systems and processes. And this comes through management consulting. We are, of course, a certified partner and reseller of Microsoft Dynamics solutions, and, of course, an experienced software developer as well. Our offering really falls into three broad buckets. We look at Dynamics ERP, talent and feedback, and budgeting and analytics, and specifically in the Dynamics ERP space, we implement and support Dynamics GP. We are doing some new sessions on content and knowledge sharing called Controller's Corner, and there's a link here on the page. I would encourage you to come out to those sessions where we're trying to really dive deeper into some of the topical areas of things like fixed assets and revenue recognition and month-end close, and really trying to help you make the most of GP and refine the processes to make it more effective for your organization. Also in the Dynamics GP space, we've had a long history of developing add-on products, and that's really the content for today that we're going to talk about. We have a very successful product in the employee performance management space called MPerform, and a couple of costing and budgeting solutions that we also want to talk about today. So let's start with really add-ons for Dynamics GP, and here we're going to talk about Changer, Reformatter, Analytical accounting tools, and Company Combiner, and then of course integrated, but as a standalone, there's MPerform. So in this area of add-ons, if we look at Changer, Reformatter, Analytical tools, and Company Combiner, these are really pieces that are specifically built to extend functionality that is not resident in Dynamics GP. So it's to help build out functionality that's not there. Let's be specific here. Changer is a very well-used add-on for GP. I think over 5,000 customers have used Changer. And what it allows you to do is modify your chart of accounts, your item master, customer codes, vendor codes, inventory codes, and even change project codes and project accounting. It is well known for the chart of accounts changing. For many, many, many years, it was the only tool that was available to change your chart of accounts. And, I've personally done all kinds of them, at least 100 chart of accounts changes using Changer. And what I love about it is that it's a simple and easy process. We can run a smart list of our chart of accounts, and we have a listing of the accounts on the first column. And in the second column, we can literally put in the new account, and we upload that Excel file into Changer and process it. And, during that process, we may be renumbering accounts because they've become out of sequence. We might be merging accounts together, and Changer natively understands what to do. It also keeps an audit trail and an audit history of the changes that you've made. And some of those small things like the ability to import and, just the audit trail, they're so critical because if, of course, we're having our books audited, the auditors are going to want to know what we changed and when we changed it. So Changer is really a key tool here. It is extremely well used. It is the gold standard. I can tell you that. It is the gold standard in the Dynamics GP space for modifying your chart of accounts. There's nothing better, there's nothing that does it faster, and there's nothing that just works perfectly like Changer does. And if you're thinking about a chart of accounts change, really you need to pay attention to Changer. Come to our site and take a look at it. And you can even download a free trial from there to try on the Fabricam company if you like. Going along with Changer, sometimes when we get into a chart of accounts reformat, we actually need to add segments to the chart of accounts. We might be going from a 2-segment chart to a 3-segment chart, and we use reformatter for that. So if the character length in your chart of accounts is locked, and that's an easy thing to look up under your segment setup, if it's locked, you would need reformatter to expand the number of characters and the number of segments that you're going to have in your chart of accounts. So if you're thinking about sort of a chart of accounts renewal project, you may need you may need reformatter, you certainly need changer. Take a look at both of them, go to the website, and you can learn more about them. They go hand in hand. And again, we've done many chart of accounts changes here. If you've got questions about that, reach out to us and we can certainly help you through that process. Company Combiner is a newer offering for CRG. And Company Combiner is something that, we probably started down this path with Company Combiner 4 or 5 years ago. Let me explain what it does. Company Combiner is an application, it's mostly application, but partly service, that allows an organization who has multiple GP entities to combine them into one. So we've done Company Combiner projects where we've taken as many as 70 or 80 companies and combined them into one new GP company. Sometimes we combine it all into an existing GP company. And the process sort of goes like this. You choose one of your GP companies to act as the master or the parent, and then you choose a number of other companies that you combine into that master company. Now, there's a few little rules around it, like obviously we want to look at functional currencies and some of the setups that are there. But it really is effective for bringing companies together. And sometimes with this offering, some of the clients will extend the functionality in GP by looking at Binary Stream's multi-entity management product. And that actually lets you create separate entities in one GP database, so separate companies in one GP database if you use multi-entity management. And so sometimes when we're involved in these types of projects, we're actually combining the companies and sort of setting them up in multi-entity management. In other cases, we're just combining the companies so that many companies become one. But GP, you know that there's lots of duplicative month-end processes and routines. Think about depreciation in fixed assets, or reval in multi-currency, or sub-ledger to GL reconciliation. The list goes on. And there's a tremendous amount of efficiency if we can eliminate duplicating those steps across multiple entities and bring them all together into one. Chances are, if you're in this situation, you're in the situation, you want to bring them together, absolutely check out Company Combiner because it's there to help with this exact business issue. Analytical accounting tools is another Dynamics GP add-on, and we built this probably back in 2009 following the 2008 launch of analytical accounting. And we really thought for analytical accounting, we saw a lot of power with it. We thought, there's a lot that organizations can do with analytical accounting, and certainly in our customer base, we've got lots of customers using analytical accounting. We also saw that there was some opportunity for some cleanup and for some tools to assist in really keeping analytical accounting and proper sequence and keeping it up to date with changing business needs. And so specifically we built out 3 different tools here to help you manage analytical accounting. The first one we call Segment Converter. And Segment Converter is really popular for clients who are looking at transitioning a core segment in their chart of accounts and moving that into analytical accounting. So, for many customers who started GP prior to, I think version 8 is when AA was launched, if they started prior to version 8 and they said, hey, we're in, an example, we're in the nonprofit sector and we need to track focus area. Or, we're a project firm, we don't need formal project accounting, but we need to track project numbers. They would have tracked those sorts of things in their GL in an underlying segment. With analytical accounting, we can track those types of things as an AA dimension. What Segment Converter can actually do is it can say, if you've tracked that stuff in a segment before, we can map it to analytical accounting and sort of move the history to analytical accounting so that once you run the converter, all your history from prior years is sitting in the AA tables, and you can eliminate the underlying segment from the GL. So sometimes AA segment converter could go along with a chart of accounts conversion or a chart of accounts change. We built Analytical Accounting Changer just for the mere purpose of wanting to merge analytical accounting codes together or to resequence or renumber them. Again, just to keep them in logical order and to keep them sequenced. And again, if you're in this world of using AA and your AA segments are out of sequence, you're going to know it every time you go into Management Report, or you're going to know it every time you run a smart list. You're going to say, gee, I wish we hadn't used alpha there. I wish we'd used numbers, or there was some different sequencing. AA Changer can help you fix that and address that. And finally, Analytical Accounting Backfiller. Backfiller was built really to say, you know, I want to send stuff to Analytical Accounting, but I just want to do a batch update at the end of the month. I don't want to have to key it on every transaction. And a good example of this would be something like a timesheet allocation. You know, timesheets come in during the month. At the end of the month, we know percentage of time people have spent on a business unit. So maybe I want to go back to our payroll entries and just split them to business units that are set up in Analytical Accounting using a percentage. I could use AA Backfiller to do it after the fact. I can load Analytical Accounting data after the transactions are posted. And that's what the Backfiller feature does. So if you've made an investment in Analytical Accounting, I strongly encourage you to take a look at the AA tool. And again, if you want to try them out, download them from CRGroup.com and try them out on the Fabricam database and see if they can be of value and benefit to you. I'm sure they can if you're using Analytical Accounting. Another tool we like to talk about, it's become more than that now, is MPerform. MPerform is our award-winning talent management software. For those of you who understand and look at HR software from time to time, you'll know that this is a very, very hot area in the HR space. And certainly with Dynamics GP and the Dynamics tool set, there really isn't anything that allows the talent management process to be automated. And so we built MPerform with that in mind, and specifically, MPerform allows us to create online, workflow-driven, very flexible performance appraisal processes that all of our employees can, you know, log on to a website and a screen and get involved and go through it on a browser-based scenario and stay up to date with feedback, with journaling, with performance. It allows them to do things like, you know, during the year, send feedback to their colleagues, and that's something called continuous feedback, and something that's really at the center of a modern performance management process nowadays. It's very helpful for HR as well, because instead of having to keep track of all kinds of Word documents and Excel documents, it's all automated in an application. The nice thing is it fully integrates to Dynamics GP, and it offers so much to an HR professional. From just appraisal, we go into the ongoing feedback and journaling. There's integrated 360 peer reviews. There's online surveys. There's a 9-box for succession planning and talent identification. There's a compensation planning piece that allows us to link or align performance results to compensation plans and merit review. And a great reporting and analytics platform that allows us to make decisions from the data we collect. So certainly, if you haven't seen MPerform, I encourage you to take a look at it. We have a specific site for it, employee-performance.com. Go on there and take a look. You can read some of our case studies and more about the product, and we'd be happy to show you a demo anytime. So again, log on and sign up, and we'll take you through the product. I want to focus now in the area of budgeting and costing, which is another core area for us at CRGroup. And in the budgeting and costing domain, we really do two primary products. These products are both followed by Gartner. One of them is Board, and the other is Adaptive Insights. And these products nowadays are really marketed as what's called CPM, or Corporate Performance Management products. And you know, the idea of the products is that not only they really, I guess at the center of them, they create a workflow-driven, multi-contributor budgeting process. They manage that. And you know, the reason why they get the CPM acronym is that they also have the ability to report on actuals. So you could send your GP actuals across to Board or Adaptive. You'd use Board or Adaptive to run your budgeting and reforecast process, and you could do all your reporting through these applications as well. They, really are coming into the GP space quite a bit. As you know, today, in the Dynamics space, there is no default Microsoft budgeting tool. For many years, it was Microsoft Forecaster. That's no longer around. That product was sunset. And so these types of products get a lot of attention. Our team here at CRGroup is certified in both Board and Adaptive, and these products have some differentiators between them. Board allows you to do more modeling of your business process. It actually allows you to create user input screens, and it's a very good tool, especially in an organization where you've got non-finance people involved as contributors in the budgeting and forecasting cycle. Adaptive Insights is really well known. They have a large client base in North America and really have a very nice cloud-based platform for automating the budgeting, forecasting, and corporate performance reporting process. So if you'd like to learn more about those, certainly visit our CRGroup website at crgroup.com and go ahead and click on those products and you can learn more about what we do with them. Finally, in the costing area, we have two solutions that we talk about. One is Cost Allocator and the other is Flex ABM. Cost Allocator is a solution that integrates with Dynamics GP, and it really takes what Dynamics GP has as fixed or variable allocations to a whole other level. Cost Allocator allows us to create driver-based multi-level allocation models. So, it could be that we do sophisticated allocations where, departments give to other departments based on square footage and then they allocate out to something else based on profitability. And, this application allows us to create those allocation models. It integrates with GP and pulls your GP data in. You sort of run the allocation process by clicking a button, and it generates your post-allocation results. After the allocation is done, you have a choice with the allocation data. Choice one is it'll send it back to GP as a batch of journal entries to be posted so that, the GL will be affected by the allocation. The other option, and one of my favorites, is you could send the post-allocation data back to GP, but instead of sending it back as journal entries, you send it back as a budget. And the reason I like that is because we've seen a business challenge in many areas where we have a corporate P&L, and somebody will say, well, let's break out our corporate P&L and fully allocate it to the business units or to products as, as a directly costed P&L. How do we do that? You say, well, I could go in and start making all kinds of entries in the GL. Or what you could do is you could use Cost Allocator. So you could bring your corporate GL into Cost Allocator. You could run your allocation model, which will essentially allocate out the corporate P&L so that it becomes divisional P&L. But instead of sending that back to GP as entries, send it back to GP as a budget. When it's back in there as a budget, you can now report your divisional P&Ls as well as your corporate P&L, and you've kept your GL clean. So I'd love to talk more about this. Cost Allocator has a place in many organizations. We meet many clients who have, one way or another, mandated allocation needs. And really one of the nice things here is the audit trail and just the seamless, easy way Cost Allocator works. Flex ABM is a solution that is out there for clients who want to get even more sophisticated, a whole other level of sophistication. If you're into wanting to do activity-based costing and activity-based management, Flex ABM supports that and provides an application that will manage that process for you, including annual updates to the activity drivers, which can be done through a web interface. Flex ABM is really an enterprise-wide activity-based management solution. And again, happy to talk more about that with you if you're looking at a project like that. So all of this information you can get from our website at crgroup.com/CPM or crgroup.com/budgeting. I encourage you to come out to the site and take a look at these products and these solutions. We will be happy to take you through these in more detail and talk about your specific business process challenge that you have and how we can help and how these solutions can help. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Please note again that there are free trials available at crgroup.com/products. You can contact us at 800-576-6215. And of course, for our partners who are on the call, there is a CRGroup portal for our partner programs, price lists, trials, and announcements and offers. And lastly, again, we're doing a Controller Corner webinar series, crgroup.com/controllers corner. You can see videos from the first two that have been done and sign up for the remaining presentations in the series where we're diving deep into some of the great functionality inside GP and kind of going at it at a level of detail that we don't do in these sort of summary level overview presentations. It's really more of a knowledge-based event, and you can earn professional credit hours by attending the Controllers Corners event as well. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I'm just going to check for questions here. Okay, just one question on analytical accounting tools, and it was really about the difference between Analytical Accounting Changer and Segment Converter. So an Analytical Accounting Changer will allow you to change, renumber, or resequence your analytical accounting codes. And Analytical Accounting Segment Converter allows you to map segment history from your core GL setup into analytical accounting. So they're both available. Segment Converter is something, if you're doing a chart of accounts change, it really comes into play there. Another question was, did you say Changer works for inventory codes? Yes, Changer works for inventory codes. You can renumber, resequence, or merge together inventory codes as well as customer codes, vendor codes, and employee codes, and of course the chart of accounts as well. It will allow you to renumber project accounting project codes, but it won't merge them together for project. And Changer, again, has a really strong ability to bring history, to maintain history through the audit trail, as well as to import from Excel. Another question, can talent data be fed back to GP? Yes, if you're using MPerform and you're in this HR space and you're looking for HR solutions, MPerform is a key product for Dynamics GP. Most of the partners around North America, when they do RFPs with GP for the HR segment, they pull us in for performance management and compensation planning. And certainly that's because it is a live two-way integration between GP and MPerform. And what that means is we synchronize employee data from GP and we send back to GP post-appraisal results as well as compensation changes that are, an output from the process in MPerform. So yes, you can send data, talent data back to GP. The last question, what's needed from us for combining companies? So, that is a deeper topic. If we're getting into Company Combiner, we'll want to have a discussion with you about the similarities between the companies. What I'll say out of the gate is, unless you're planning to do a functional currency change as part of it, you want to look at your company databases and sort of group them together, the ones that are the same, that share the same functional currency. And those are the easiest ones for us to combine. And again, what we would do is do a pre-assessment for you. We'd talk about the challenge, we'd look at the data, we'd take you through the process to understand, hey, is there mapping issues? Do we have the same customer set up twice? Do we have the same inventory item set up twice? And we have a process we use so that when we merge it together, we don't duplicate customers and vendors and items. We just keep one record of it and bring the data together. And we talk to you about that process and what's included. And certainly there's a pre-assessment, there's the work, and then there's an evaluation once it's done. When we do Company Combiner, typically most clients have us do it in test first. So you can see the process run in test and look at it and understand it and validate it before you go into production. So it's a little bit like an upgrade process in a way, except it's combining the company databases. And I thought that was it, but there is one last question that's come in, and I'm going to go ahead. Is your performance management product web-based? The answer to that question is yes. MPerform is 100% web-based, and both the administration side as well as the review side are web-based. The product is licensed in two ways. One is with an on-premise deployment, very similar to what you do today for Dynamics GP, and the other one is a SaaS-based offering, so it's a hosted offering, which requires no setup and implementation at your site in your network environment. So with that, I'll thank everybody for joining. Those are the questions for today. Please do sign up for Controllers Corner, and we look forward to sharing more information about Dynamics GP and CRGroup add-ons with you in the future. Thanks again. Bye-bye.